Boom. All right, we're live. What's going on, everyone? My name is Seth Miranda. Welcome to Adorama itself. I got my girl Ashley with me. Activate, thank you. I love Ashley. She's great to shoot with, and I'm gonna actually tell you why we're really lucky to be shooting with her tonight. Is my headphones running right now? Nope, okay, great. Got everybody at home, by the way. If you are watching this for the first time, you think you're subscribed to AdoramaTV, you're not. This is Adorama Events. You are not subscribed to this channel. I promise you that. Go ahead and subscribe. And I'm gonna be switching this feed myself, so give me a little bit of breathing room on that. I'm by myself. Fernando abandoned me, so everyone write boo Fernando in the chat. And the rest of you, we're going for it. What's up, Fernando? Yo, Fahad, how long are you sticking around? You wanna switch some camera feeds? Nah, okay, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. All right, look. So this is the first demo I've done in a few months. The last one I did was before Halloween, and I got some rust on my brain. And I've also been working for the last week with gear I'm not too familiar with. I bought a bunch of new stuff, and it kind of put me in this position where I feel a lot of you are, where you're probably not sure where to go with your work. You're not sure about the gear you're using because you haven't deep dived into it. There's things happening that you're not sure what's happening. And then it's just a matter of like, well, what is the shot? What am I trying to do? And what did I title this? Creating portraits from scratch. Is that what I called it? Nice and clickbaity? Yeah, no, that is no sound. You guys have no sound? Got sound now. Okay, it's on you. All right. I called it Creating Portraits from Scratch for a few reasons. One, I'm done with topics. I'm sick of topics. I just want to shoot live and we figure things out. Because who cares? Oh, we're using single light. Cool. We'll use single light for this. Who cares? It's not about the topic. It's about evolving with the shot and yourself as a photographer and a creator. And a little while ago, we used to have a Twitch channel on Adorama, and every Tuesday morning, I would do a photo jam where we would just go live and the chat room would just go, I want to figure out this. Let's figure it out. And that's how I'm running this, okay? I don't care where we get to. I just want to make sure we're getting you guys into it and off to the races, because I'm good. I'm all right. I want to get you guys to a place where you're confident with your voice, your perspective, your vision. Okay. There's a lot of things that go on out there as far as portraiture goes, but I also think portraiture is this word like this when it's really a word like this. And how many of you guys see images out there and you're wondering why your images don't look like that? And almost 67.4% of the times, it's someone edited the snot out of it and did something that isn't really the shot. And that's fine if that's your style. And I'm not here to shade up on anyone's style, and I'm not here to tell you where to go with it. What I'm here to do tonight is to get you to realize what tools you have at your disposal, how to properly kind of use them on a technical level, and then when I would personally apply them. So the one reason I really like that I got Ashley in here, one, she's awesome and super reliable and she's easy to work with. But two, clearly she got a great look. But I shot with Ashley for the Nikon ZF video on AdoramaTV, and I must have ran through 7 setups in that video because everything was working, but in different ways. And for me, a portrait means to portray someone. It means that when I look at that image, I can connect, and yeah, I'm not gonna know about them. I don't know where they came from. I don't know if they speak English, whatever. But I can get mannerisms that give me the idea of what they would be like if they're in front of me, and I don't feel like they're a stranger when they pop up. Sort of like a headshot, right? You guys wanna put out a headshot for a client so that when they walk into an audition, they already know who's walking through that door. They have to match that, right? The difference with a headshot and a portrait, I don't know. They kind of sound like the same thing to me, right? One you can sell, all right? No, I'm just kidding. I do see a lot of people out there that are always after these same buzzwords, right? How many times have you guys heard the word painterly? Yeah, well, yeah, right? Or you know, it's like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this and put a prism on the lens. Oh, here's a filter I can screw in that does all these weird things. That's great. And I'm glad we have all these tools. I'm glad you guys are experimenting, but how many times has that, and I'm gonna call it gimmick, worked for the subject to get you the subject to be the forefront rather than the way you're shooting it? And that's where I think portraiture hits. It's not about our ego as a photographer of what we pull off, even though if you look at my work, I slam my ego around like crazy with techniques, but it's kind of my job to show you guys what's possible. Wow, it is 1,000 degrees up here. Yeah, it's so hot. I think the AC here is fighting the heat in the store, and they're just having this like Brooklyn versus Bronx battle right now that's kind of killing me. for me, I want to be able to portray my subject, portrait. That's why when everybody, and especially know you guys in the chat know this, when someone, oh, let me take all this stuff off the screen. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm by myself, sorry. When someone says, oh, I love Rembrandt lighting, I lose my mind. How do you know? What if she sucks with Rembrandt lighting? How is that your favorite lighting now? What you're trying to say is I like to have noir, I like mood, I like density, I like contrast. That's what you're really trying to say. If you're already going into subject, and this is all my opinion, and hate me in those comments, help my algorithm, this is, all you're doing is almost basically throwing a preset on somebody just with light. What you really want to do if you want to elevate as a portrait photographer is start going, first of all, you want to build out your Rolodex of techniques you can pull out when you want to pull them out. And then the most important part of this is when to apply them, okay? Before Ashley was here for this demo, this was the last demo we did in the store before I built this event space. And my model was my own mom. You want to talk about being very careful with your light so your mom's happy, you know? Or how about the fact that I know my mom my whole life and it screws my brain up because I'm like, I don't know where to go. I almost know her too well. I've known Ashley for a number of years. I remember shooting you when forever, like 15 years ago. Yeah, you were a young kid, but it was, and I've watched her, you know, grow, and we've talked, and we have a rapport. And what's crazy is when we shot, you got a little quiet and mousy on me, and then after we shot, you said something like, you don't like being shot that close. Yeah. But then how'd you feel after we shot?
Fine.
Fine. And that's a portrait photographer. It's getting to this collaboration point of here's what I want to do as the creative, and here's who I am as the person, can we get there? And sometimes you're going to have 10 minutes to build that chemistry. And sometimes you're going to have years and still never hit it. And I will probably photograph my mom 100 more times and still feel like I didn't hit it. Ooh, that sounds horrible. Didn't get the portrait. Sorry. Wow, okay. But do you guys get it? And I think what we're going to do in here tonight is I'm going to run you through lighting setups that vary from super open and flat to tight and contrast, and we're going to talk about what's working in each one and why. Sorry, winter. Damn, that's a scarf, man. Look at that. Nice. This kid. Anyway, you guys in the chat, if you have any questions throughout this demo, please type a bunch of Q's first so I can see it. I'm by myself again, guys. And if you guys have any questions, this is New York. We yell, okay? I just throw them at me, okay? Everybody ready? All right, how many have been to my demos before? Come on. All right, you guys are in for it. What's the first thing we do at my demos? First thing, what's the first shot? You know, you've been at every demo for, come on, Eric. What's the first shot?
The ugly one.
No, that's a trick. Don't do that. We have to do a junky shot of them so you look like, oh, we made her look great after. There's always a comparison, but we're not doing that. See, everyone in the chat knows black frame. Black frame is me getting my exposure in my camera how I want so that I am eliminating the ambient light. This isn't always the case in portraits. Sometimes you're not in a studio and you want to capture what's going on as an environmental portrait. Different story. Here, actually, I should preface by saying everything we're going to do is going to be a domino effect of decisions. When you go and shoot, get intentful. Go in there with a purpose, okay? And I know we were just talking about, like, I don't know where to go when we start. And that's what's so great about this. You can go anywhere. In here, everything we document, everything we record is our light, right? So the first decision I'm making is, well, what am I shooting with? I know it sounds crazy that I never talk about that when I do other demos, right? I'm like, do whatever you want with whatever you're shooting with. But if you're trying to get a specific look, a specific result out of what you're using, it's going to depend on some things. I have 2 camera systems up here, and I drove myself crazy for the last week because I just bought myself the GFX 100 II. And I said, man, this is amazing. And then I just like, I'm going to go back to my Nikon for the demo. And then I keep going back and forth. And if you look at the images out of both of these, the color science is different. The lenses act differently. The minimum focusing distance, getting closer to my subject, is different. The lenses I own are different. So of course, the image is going to be different. That said, I don't care what you do it with as long as you start shooting. And a lot of the times it's pull it out of my bag, whatever it is, I'm gonna kind of work with it till it gets to a place where I'm happy with what I'm getting as a portrayal, okay? How many guys always get confused on portrait lenses? How many people are like, how many people don't know what to start with as far as a portrait lens? How many of you have heard the term portrait lens? Yeah, and if you go watch my channel, I have a 20-minute rant about any lens is a portrait lens, okay? Because it is. It's any lens you're choosing to shoot a portrait with. So I made a setup here, which is kind of cheating because I use this setup all the time, which is what I'm going to tell all of you to start with if you have no idea where to start. Get a pretty good range zoom, and then realize where your eye and you as a person feel you're settling in on. You might be settling in on 105 millimeters. King over here might be settling down at 24 because he likes to warp it out and gets that sense. Ashley has so much going on with her, and I could easily have her come to the studio, and she's got such crazy style. I know one day she's gonna have huge shoes, shoot it wide, get them right in the frame. She's loud, you can't deny who she is. And then sometime I might go, you know, let's shoot at 200 millimeters, real nice and tight, stare right through me and rip my soul. Two different shots, same person, two different portraits. You gotta make your decision of where you're going for that person, right? Get a sense of them, okay? Now I'm using a 24-120 f4. This is a Nikon lens, and I really love this lens, and it's a glorified kit lens. This lens has a very nice close focusing distance, which is important to me personally because I'm always stepping closer to my subject as I shoot. It's a weird habit I've always had, and I guarantee you it's from my pedigree of being a BMX photographer where everything was shooting super wide and always getting super close, and if you got hit, it was even better, right? So I feel like I get that, but on an intellectual level, stepping closer to subject for portraiture for me is the perspective almost no one's going to get unless she lets you. You're not going to get that close to someone. On the street, that's, you know, but a portrait, I can get you there. And then you can't get rid of them. Another thing about a portrait lens, I swear we're going to get going, I promise. Another thing about a portrait lens is they tend to tell you that they're longer focal lengths. That YouTube guy told you this millimeter and you need a 1 point blah because the 1 point blah looks like this. Well, maybe I don't want to shoot a 1 point blah. Maybe I'm shooting environmental portraiture and their environment should be sharp just like they are. If you're looking for an isolated look, longer focal lengths, shallower depth of field, doesn't matter where they are. The only thing you can focus on is the human being that you shot. There's your portrait, right? There's decisions. You shoot at Comic-Con a lot. Getting the rest of all that noise to blur out cuts out the visual static and they pop out. That's where you start using those tools. But there's more often than not, people buy like a 1.2 lens, spend $3,000 and go, and then one of the eyes is soft, one of the eyes is sharp, and they think that's a portrait, but for some reason they're not happy with it and they wonder why. Because it's not the shot you're trying for, it's the shot you think you're supposed to take. There's a big difference. And it's a lot of what we're gonna do tonight, once I get going, because I know I'm yammering, I gotta fill time so that we don't actually shoot anything. A lot of what we're doing tonight is getting to a point where you guys understand that this is a science as much as it's a feel, and no one can tell you how to shoot. And if you wanna shoot 3 stops overexposed and bleach her out, that's your choice. But if you tell me that the technique you're going for is on exposure and that's not happening, that's where you're wrong. The technique that you want, if you're not achieving, that's where you get wrong. But the choice of the technique, that's you. And we're completely different. All right, let's get this black frame. I'm in a lit set and I know this set, so I also know that I can't shoot super wide open in here without getting light infiltration. I also know that I'm not gonna be shooting super wide. The reason being, I like my portraits, like I want you to cut your eyes on my portraits. I want you almost uncomfortable with them sometimes. The other thing is I shoot commercially more than anything these days. And how many times have you seen a Subway ad that only has the eye cornea in focus? Woo, right? You very rarely see that look. So I'm gonna shoot pretty close down. I don't know, let's go with 6.3. I'll make it a little portraity, okay? We'll go a little bit. But more importantly than the millimeter and the aperture is where I'm standing, because the closer I am to her, the shallower it's gonna look anyway. Another reason why minimum focusing distance on my lenses is more important to me sometimes. If it's an f4, I don't care. Can I get closer? I'll make up the rest of that shallow look when I need it. You know, so Dan Norton has an amazing video. It's more important, where you stand is more important than the lens you choose. Go check that out if you get a chance. Don't say I didn't do anything for you, Dan. I just gave you a shout out. Okay, here we go. Black frame, 200th of a second, ISO 100. This can go down to 64 ISO, but I'm not gonna do that. And the reason I never go down to the complete base is if I'm ever in a hard spot, I have one more trick up my sleeve to knock some light out of the camera if it's a little too hot. Okay, so that's my little trick. All right, let's take a shot here. We're going into capture one. This is a picture of the event space. Very thrilling. Let's get you going here. Oh. It's probably not even gonna be in focus because I have no light in the camera. But right now we're looking at black. So I know none of this light's affecting it, but this is more than just a black frame. What else is this? We're about to get deep here. What else is it? This is telling me, one, my shadow density. This is what my shadow is. Shadow is where light isn't. So now I know that wherever my light isn't hitting is probably about 2 stops away. So I have 2 stops of shadow density. That means I have that much leeway to fill in those shadows when I start lighting her, okay? Now if I turn on, oh, I don't have a strobe set up, what am I talking about? This also is the most terrifying thing on earth for most photographers. This is the blank page. This is the, I'm going into a white studio that I rented for the day, a cyc wall, I've got an amazing model, I spent all this money. Now what? Now what? And a lot of you guys will probably go in there and point the lens and point the light, hit a TTL and go, right? And somehow it doesn't feel special to you. It doesn't feel like the image that you think you could get in your head. You have to kind of chase what you're thinking. We're gonna chase a bunch of shots tonight. So the first thing I'm gonna start off with that I recommend, because there's a lot of schools of thought on starting with the human face. There's one school of thought, which I subscribe to them when I think they apply, right? But one of them is if you get someone and you get them symmetrical, you're always gonna have one side that's wider than another. And typically you'll let the shadow go to the wider side so that you get more of a symmetrical look. Psychologically, we like symmetry as human beings, and yay. If that's the shot you want, go for it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give Ashley the flattest light I can to start with in this tiny space. So what gets us flat light? What gets us really not contrasty light? Oh my God, all right, that's it. Everybody's gonna scream at the count of 3, or I'm not taking a shot. I will walk out of here, I don't care. On the count of 3, everybody scream. 1, 2, 3, scream. Ah! This is New York, come on. And this is my home court, literally the house I built. 1, 2, 3, scream! I'm not shooting, I'm not shooting, I'm not shooting. Everybody, 1, 2, 3, scream! Ah! One more time and just scream. Scream! Ah! Thank you. Do you feel better? Now you can yell at me a little bit? God damn. All right, listen. I'm gonna give her the softest light I can. The larger the light source is in relation to our subject, the softer it is, right? Well, I'm using Pro Photo B10X Pluses here. These are 500 watt second lights, but this is pretty tiny. If I point it at her, it's a hard light. Although you look really good with hard lights, so we're gonna end up there at some point. But I'm gonna bounce this off this ceiling, and I'm even gonna double down on it. I'm gonna put diffusion in between her and the bounce. I'm gonna explain why. So if I bounce this off the ceiling becomes my light source, right? Cool, we like that, nice. Seth, you're a genius, I know, it's okay. And if you notice, we got blue walls. Don't bounce it off the blue, because your lights are gonna be cold. She's not dead yet, you know? So I'm gonna turn this on first, actually. The reason I'm gonna bounce this off the ceiling and then put in diffusion is because, actually, let me just do it because I'm just talking, let's shoot. Any questions so far, we good? Any of this helpful so far? Yeah, all right, good. That's exactly what I didn't wanna do, but we're doing it, okay. Any guys online, you good? I know, I didn't switch cameras, I know, I'm sorry. I only got so many hands and too many people around me. Okay. Hey, Fernando, you swoop in, look at you. Everybody boo Fernando for being late. Boo, boo. There, look, I'm gonna just switch the cameras, I'll switch everything else. Whew, man, I'm dying up here. I was buying all this time, I was just talking. I wasn't even doing anything. All right, well, so I'm gonna set up the diffusion while I talk to you guys. The reason I'm gonna put the diffusion between Ashley and the bounce is, it's gonna act like 2 light sources. What are you talking about? You got 1 light. Calm down, Eric, I know, breathe, all right? What's actually happening is the bounce is gonna be bigger than this. So the bounce is going to affect this white background that I got here. Oh, you know what I just realized? Sorry, guys. I had my graphics up forever, like everything's just kind of killing me right now.
Very good.
All right, cool. The bounce is going to affect the whole area. But if I have a 3-foot diffuser here that's losing 2 stops of light, that means that that background matches her exposure just that much more because it's farther from the light, right? Inverse square. If we start taking that ratio and shrinking it, we get a flatter light. I'm gonna set this up before I take the shot and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Everybody with me on that? Does that make sense? We're just trying to make it an even playing field. You can mimic this sort of, not really, but a little bit, with a large, extra large, like 5-foot umbrella and a diffuser sock. The reason it's not the same is look at the size of this ceiling. A lot bigger than a diffuser sock, right? A lot bigger than 5 feet. So it is gonna give you a little bit smaller of a source. You are gonna get more shadow definition. This is a pro photo. Dude, Manfrotto. This is a Manfrotto Halo. I love this thing. If you haven't seen the videos on my channel of this, I have a 3-video playlist of it. I love this thing. And I'm just gonna set it up real quick because I should have this set up for you, I apologize. Anybody lost yet? Okay, I know we haven't even taken a shot yet, but once we start doing it, you're gonna be like, whoa, wait, go back. I know, no, I'm not gonna do it, Eric. I'm gonna stay with this. All right. The one thing I really like about this also is it has the same diameter on the frame as a grip head, so I can just kind of like bite down on it, and I got myself a holder. So those $100 C-stands they sell here, same thing. Or get that tall, creepy uncle you have to just hold it, same thing, all right? All right, we're gonna put this here. We're gonna shoot it without this. We're gonna add a bounce underneath her, but let's get this going. TTL 6.3. Oh, you look thrilled, kid. Look straight at me, look straight at me. I wanna get her symmetrical for you guys, right? Yeah, close enough. Last thing you are is symmetrical. Okay, look. Pretty grim, huh? I don't get it. It's a huge soft light. Yeah, but it's still overhead, you mooks. It's still direction of light. Okay, so you're gonna say, but Seth, just put the thing underneath because that fixes everything. I know, stop. And what do you know? I have a stand right here. It's so convenient. Who would have thought a stand would be here? Look at this. Not gonna lie, I didn't think you were gonna show up.
Long meeting.
I know. Actually, let's do it this way. So I'm gonna throw a board underneath Ashley, and I'm gonna do a white board, not silver, because I'm matching soft for soft, right? Okay. See how we build up the shot? If you guys weren't here, I'd have been done with this 3 hours ago, but you know, got to do it on a show for you. You signed up, you know? Eric always has nowhere to go but here. All right, so we're gonna put this under Ashley, and I'm gonna pivot it a little bit, right? We want it to go in, right? Now what's great about a bounce is it can never be brighter than the light I'm using. It'll always be in that pocket, right? So let's take this, let me see, look at me. Yeah. Let's take the shot, bada bing, how you doing? Okay, still could be flatter, believe it or not. Why isn't it flat? Look, we have dimension on her lip, on her jaw, and you might even like this for the portrait, right? But these are the things you put in your back pocket and go, actually that looked all right. If I have a big group of people, this might work. If I have a big group of people on a white floor, that's the bounce, this might work. I might get out of that job alive. How many times have you said that to yourself? Yeah, don't even. Now I'm gonna throw in this diffuser, right? Where'd I put my clamps? Oh, everybody with me? All right. I hate quiet crowds. And then I say that and someone comes up after you like, you know we're listening, right? I'm like, don't listen. Oh wait, I had this the right way, I'm a schmuck. That's not a curse, by the way. Okay, we're doing this, right? And we're doing this with the bounce, right? Light coming down, light coming up. And where's Ashley? Right in the middle, right? That's how we want to do this, okay? This is a 2-stop diffuser. The power of my light is going to change. Make sense? It's going to go brighter, right? Well, this is the thing about TTL. The scene didn't change. The light did, but the only light that's going to get affected by this right now is the background because I'm actually changing the exposure on Ashley, not the background. That's why it's 2 light sources. That's staying the same. This is causing the light source to go brighter. That's why it's two lights. I don't know, I'm yammering, let me do this. You all right? Is Pete bothering you? No. You sure? He's looking really weird. Cut it out, Pete, seriously, what is this? What are you doing? Actually, you know what? Yeah, okay. All right, now we got a diffuser, look at me, beautiful. We just lost all that light, right? Cool. I'm gonna crank this thing now. Still not enough. What do I do? And this is me getting into the weeds right in front of you. What can I do to fix this? I'm at max power on that light. It is maxed out, it is pointing at a ceiling, probably 15 feet from her, going through 2 stops of diffusion, and Godzilla's stopping it from getting in. Like, I'm against all odds here. I'll just open up my aperture. That's it. I know I have 2 stops, right? I'll open up my aperture. But look how flat that just got compared to this. Same light. The background is a lot more even, right? If I wanted to make it even brighter, I can do that. I can open up a little bit more. Way flat. But it's giving, now this gives you, if you're not sure, this will give you a baseline of who you're looking at. Because you can always add in shadows. It's getting flat that gives you an idea of what's in front of your lens, who's in front of your lens. And then this is where you start getting to be a portrait photographer where you go, what are the interesting qualities of this person? What do I want to bring out? What's kicking for me? What defines her? And for me, Ashley has always been about her eyes. I mean, unbelievable texture in those eyes, right? And there's this mook right here, right? Look, wow, you got fallout eyelashes coming out. But that said, while you got it set up, run with it a little bit. What's the big deal, right? In fact, I'm gonna give it even just like a touch more light because I can, and I'm gonna cheat my brains out. I built this place and I'm doing it. All right. Let's turn this way, turn like this. Yeah, turn to me a little bit. Beautiful. And part of the thing about being a portrait photographer is kind of getting a rapport with your subject and talking to them while you're shooting, right? I mean, this is flat, but then it's like, you're really kind of, you're not getting caught up in shadows. You're not getting caught up in a mood. You're getting caught up in Ashley here, right? So if I just kind of go with this a little bit. That ready signal is not set. There it is. I'm not letting the light recycle. That's my fault. And that's what happens when you're doing a demo. I'm rushing, yeah. But look, nice and flat, but it's there. Everything's there, right? It's a style, doesn't mean it's where I want to go with it. Does this make sense for you guys? Look straight at me. Oh. And then one of the portraits I always tend to do, which people call me out on, is I do one of these. Oh, don't blink, come on. What are you doing? Of course you blink on that one. Of course you get drunk on this one. Look at me, come on. Whoop. It'll stop someone for a second to look at that image. I know what the other side of her face looks like. Unless she had an acid burn that we don't know about, that's what Ashley looks like. But how much more do you focus in on that texture of that eye? Now it's 15% of that image as opposed to 3%, right? These are decisions I'm making. I'm mapping out. Whew, man, it's hot in here, right? Am I crazy? Oh, man. But I know, what's up? It's her, yeah. I'm gonna have to ask you to keep those creepy comments along there. But I always get, like, when I did the ZF video, I kept on getting stuck on the texture of her eye, and everybody was commenting like, well, what did you do to edit that? I didn't. But this is what I kept pulling out. And yeah, I'm obsessed with eyeballs. They're tattooed all over me. I get it. We're photographers. We all have eyes. But I think I'm making my point here, right? Let's swing. Let's go the opposite direction. Let's go tighter light, harder light. Now, a lot of people, the first thing they're going to buy when they're shooting pretty stuff, they go, what's something that will give me a beautiful photo? Probably that thing called a beauty dish. Yes. It's not what you think it is. I know, I'm gonna break all your hearts, one by one. A beauty dish is a specific source. A beauty dish has a specific quality to it. And one of the things I think people don't talk about enough is that distance of the light dictates a bunch of things. The light source size, sure, but the light source farther from my subject will drag my shadows like a sundial. However, light source closer, sure, the shadows won't be as long, but the light will fall off faster, meaning it'll go to shadow faster. What a beauty dish allows you to do is get a hard light source closer to Ashley's face, which means we get a faster fall off, which means what happens? Those cheekbones start shaping, that jawline starts shaping, the lips start shaping because it's got a shadow coming right behind it. Highlights, the more you add light, the flatter it'll get, right? The more shadow we put in there, the more depth, right? You just saw how flat it can get pretty quickly. And then when you have shadow, you're basically making a void for people to fall into. Man, I am dying right now. I had some of that weird coffee. Ooh, like it's in my throat. Anyway, so now I'm gonna throw a beauty dish at her. And you have choices of beauty dish, size, finishes. This is the Pro Photo Soft Silver Beauty Dish. I love this dish. White beauty dishes are a particular taste for some people. They're definitely like a less specular light. They're a less harsh light, and people tend to like it. Later on, I'm gonna show you what I use instead of that. This though, you have size, you have finish, you have type of disc. Could be translucent. I tend to prefer translucent discs. Hello, I might sound like I'm on the radio. The translucent disc, also, you're kind of married to it. Like this will get you close to what you're trying to get. Gets your hotspot blocked, but you could also throw a grid on there and limit the light, which means the background goes darker, right? Which means a lot of different things. So I gotta pay attention to the light recycling instead of just talking like a mook. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna set it up symmetrically. And the reason I'm doing it symmetrically is because you can always make things less symmetric. If you're not sure where to go, start symmetric. Then you can move the light. But my workflow, and I think you know this, I think from working with you, I fly through things fast. I prioritize speed and versatility of images. I want to give my subjects and my clients as much and things they didn't think about. And then they call you back and go, you know that thing you did on the third shot we didn't know we were going to want? Well, we want that. Can you do it with this other person? Yeah, I can. Let's book it. And you know what I do? I buy another camera and then I break it in front of you guys like I do all the time. All right, we're going to sandbag this guy. That is got to be full of tools. It's probably the one full of tools. Quick pro tip, if you want to fill a sandbag, use pennies. It'll cost you like 10 bucks and it's like the best filler you'll ever have. I have a Pro Photo sandbag. The cheapest thing about Pro Photo is those pennies in that sandbag. All right, let's turn this on. To keep things consistent when you're using a beauty dish, my tip to you is put out your arm lateral, put out your knob 90 degrees, and let the beauty dish rest on the knob. That way, if you're changing subjects, your light is consistent. The angle of your light's always consistent. So you don't want to be what I call quicksand, chasing so many variables that you're not sure what affected what, one variable at a time. Otherwise, you're not going to make it back, okay? Or you might get something really cool, you don't know. If you guys have any questions in that chat, hit Q's. I'll try to grab it. I got Fernando with me. He can pull out a question. If you want that chat on there, you just got to double that tab. Okay, all right. All right, let's do this. Everybody with me? All right, cool. This is a silver beauty dish, but I'm using a white bounce. I could go to a silver reflector. We'll see what happens. We'll see how we like this. Boy, you look so bored. Is that what you're doing to me here?
I just wish I knew what you were talking about.
Well, you know, it's funny because Ashley hit me up. Ashley is amazing. She actually owns 2 salons in Philly. I'm very proud of her. I got to watch her ascend the ranks, but she hits me up asking me about lighting for that because she's not seeing what she's trying to see out of her work. And that might be one of your clients going, no, the hair is more important, right? How do I light the hair? Harder light sources, more texture. We don't want to go flat, right? You want to see some curls, right? Look at me. All right. Look nice and bored. Perfect. Look really, really bored. Atta girl. Oh, what happened here? What happened? I'm talking too much. I took it out of TTL and I'm boosted up the power to bounce off the ceiling, remember? Let's take it back into TTL. I can't hear you. Yeah, I went back. Chin down a little bit. Beautiful. Let's take a look. All right. Is that still firing? That is a lot of light for a beauty dish, actually. Let's see this really quickly. Chin down slight. Beautiful. Is that firing? I feel like... No, right? Point it where it's firing. See if it fires. I don't... You know what? It just seems like a lot of light coming from a beauty dish, to be honest. I could be wrong. Let's really quickly mitigate this problem. And maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about, which could totally be the case. All right? Let's take a look. What just happened? Oh, no, wait. What just happened here? I'm all screwed up, guys. I'm sorry. What mode am I in? It's a Nikon Z9. Okay, whatever. We're going with this. So you can see right now, harder light source. We're getting quick drop shadows, right? Okay, cool. If I take this away, now you're going to see the shadows for real, right? Watch, look at the difference, right? This is lighting 101. We're not breaking the ideas here, right? But we are shaping faces here, right? We're getting a portrait to portray the human. This human. I know this human, but I know I always want to make sure I get those eyes to look the way I remember those eyes all the time, which is super, super textury, right? Look at that. You know how that's like a 1 in a million right there. Although Susie has some eyes like this. I know that. I know that. So let's say I want to keep on building that contrast. How can I do that? Smaller light, harder light, right? What does harder light give me? What does harder light give me? Shadows, right? Harder light gives me contrast, right? Well, I've got this grid right here. And since I spent all this money on it, I have to, I legally have to use it.
What size beauty dish do you recommend?
22-inch beauty dishes are a nice start. That's what this is. You kind of, once you go huge, you're actually going to find yourself having a hard time shooting with it unless it's offside to the camera or up high. And if it is up high, that's when you want a larger dish to compensate for the distance. It gets smaller as it goes away, right? Farther away, right? So here we go. TTL, grid. Oh, let's take a look. I'm gonna tell TTL to calm down a little bit. Chin down slight, beautiful.
So you're not using that one anymore?
No, that's been gone. That's gone. I could, if this was I could bounce off the white here if I wanted to use this light and fill her in on axis. But you see how the grid just added more? Look at how much lip, how much more lip, right? If you go back to the flatter shot, I don't know, pick one. This one where she's not so bored looking. Look at the difference. Flat to hard, right? If you said to someone, I want to bring out the shape of your lips, are you going with a big, soft light? Not really, right? You're kind of working things here, right? Also, bone structure. Look at the jawline versus the jawline, right? It's the shape that you're creating. And a lot of people tend to shoot flat and burn things in post. I don't care how smart you are. You do not know the exact physics of light. And we've been looking at light our entire lives, and it's going to look awkward to people. Just light it. All right? Now I'm gonna show you a lighting setup that I tend to think is really beautiful because I have all this stuff set up, right? I'm gonna throw back in the white bounce. I know, crazy. Calm down. Later, boss. Calm down, all right? I'm gonna take off the grid. What, Seth? Don't know. It's gone. It's gone. It's off. We got paid for the day. We're moving on, right? Whoop. Hey. Dude, I haven't done a demo in a long time, and I am feeling it. I am feeling it. I'm going to do another cheat code. I know. This is diffusion gel. Watch this. This is the light I used on my mom. My mom looks so similar to Ashley. I love you, Mom, if you're watching this. But wait, we're not done yet. And the reason I'm not using a sock is a different density than this gel. This gel has a real deep density to it. Okay. I'm just gonna use some clothespins, which is another advantage of strobe. You don't have to worry about things going on fire from heat, okay? And I'm gonna lift this up even higher. But Seth, you said that the light gets smaller as I take it away. Listen, calm down, Pete. I'm not gonna tell you again, all right? You all right? You sure? Okay. You guys aren't staying with me. If you forgot I had this set up. What's happening here? I'm shooting through a light source that takes out the hot spot of the light, beauty dish. I'm making the light larger and more diffused, the gel. Then I'm making it even bigger and even more diffused. What do you think's gonna happen here, right? We're gonna have a softer looking light, but it has a quality to it. And the reason I'm going into this is because sometimes it's not hard versus soft, it's quality, okay? Let's get this matrix mess that I made in here. Let me look at you, scoot this way. Actually, good. Yeah, it's fine. No, this is, Manfrotto makes this deflector, so it actually has strips of silver, so I can use it as a reflector if I want. So I end up using this quite a bit out in the field because I don't want to carry 16 skins and all this other stuff. You can replicate this with the 5-in-1 reflectors you guys have. There's a diffuser in the middle of them. You know, you can use that. Don't be afraid. Probably. Dan probably uses, yeah. Yeah, no, his is different. He doesn't have the stripe one. We all have our things, right? All right, so I'm gonna go, is this B? Yeah. I'm gonna put this in TTL, and I'm just gonna see what happens here. I'm losing a ton of light though, right? Probably 4 stops. The gel, this, you know? Oh my God. I know. All right, turn to me a little bit. Yeah, beautiful. Let's take a look. The quality of light still hits. You get these specular highlights. You get a little bit of the shadow, right? Look at the eye. I just want you to see just how much texture you pull out of her eye. I thought it was a soft light source, technically, but it's smaller than bouncing off the ceiling. It's directional. It's not hitting and then spreading everywhere. It's diffusing as it hits. These are subtle things, but they make a massive difference. I mean, you can see how wet her eye is. You can read my freaking knuckles, okay? Actually, you know what? I have another camera here that I want to try this shot with. It's called the GFX 102. You guys want to try it out? Yeah, great. I'm going to turn this one on. And what's cool about the Pro Photo Remote is the batteries die right in front of my face. Great. You guys have any questions so far? Nothing? Could I step back with a zoom lens if you want to see my knuckles? If you want to see my knuckles, you're going to have to...
No, if you don't. You don't want to see yourself.
No matter, look, at some point, you are going to be reflecting in a shot if the light's reflecting off of you. If you don't, hence how we wear black a lot, okay? How many AAAs I got there, 2? Why am I always on a suicide mission when I'm live? It's amazing. I could skip this, but I kind of want to see what happens here. And I also want you guys to see the difference in color theory between brands because that might affect the way you're doing things as well. Oh my God. Let me see if there's any batteries. Sorry guys. What is this? None of these have batteries in them, dude? All right, I'm just gonna stop chasing this and kind of walk away from it, I think. Yeah, all right. It is what it is.
Take the batteries out of the other one.
Yeah, but then I'm kind of stuck again. In fact, I'm gonna take them out of this remote that's over here. Dude, no remote has batteries in it. Yeah, all right, we're just gonna move on. I'm in the middle of,
Let's go.
hold on, let's see if one battery will do it. I just need a shot. For all the people that say like, oh, nothing ever goes wrong with you guys. Yeah, it does. Okay, I get it all the time. All right, so we're just gonna go for it. I'm set to the same settings as this. So we're gonna go back to 6.3 where I started. And I'm gonna plug this in and we're just gonna pray, okay? However, I will preface by saying if I'm at my studio and I know I'm going into 2 cameras, they'd already be set, okay? So I apologize for this, but live demos are live demos, and I think if they're not authentic, there's no point to them, okay? And how many of you guys have run into your tether not working in front of people, then they get impatient, they look bored, you know? And man, that's clean though. That's 46 megapixels, nice and clean. This is gonna be medium format, 102 megapixels. I gotta take this off, select the camera.
What lens you got on there?
This is the one,
That's the Nikon.
this is the 110 f2, but I'm not shooting at f2. Let's take a look. It also doesn't let me get as close. All right, so we are underexposed. I'm gonna go into Air 2, and I'm gonna give it more light. Actually, what am I doing? I'm gonna keep it in TTL and I'll just tell it more light, why not? And see, it's telling me can't focus because it's too close.
Like 4 feet away. Jeez.
But, I mean, and then if you look at the image, different skin tones, different hair. The Fuji's on the left, Nikon's on the right. Not to compare, but look at the skin tones and texture. And this is set to just standard film profile. And I can change the color on this, obviously, but you see how we're just changing, we're selecting our tools here, you know? If I was shooting a head to toe over and they need to crop in tight to get like a head, the necklace, whatever, I'd probably lean more on the resolution there. Not that you always need it, because look at 46 megapixels when you're shooting a full head. And I've done plenty with 24 megapixels. All right, I'm getting myself into the weeds here. I'm gonna take this off and because this remote's gonna die anyway. All right, everybody with me? All right, let's go into hard light. And then I'm gonna go into my go-to for me personally, because after so many years of doing this, you develop your style and you know what you want. Everybody with me so far? Is this messy, like too all over the place, you guys? I told you I could do this without a plan. Well, Rusty. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna just get a base back to where I was, all right? So we're gonna go right into TTL. I'm gonna look at Ashley really quick. Let's take a look. Beautiful, okay. The thing is, like, you can't deny like what you're getting out of that light, you know? And it could change. If she had a lot of jewelry on, it reacts similar to the way eyes, right? Specular highlight, shiny, round, similar. You know, that's kind of why you kind of light the same. You always get eyes really clean when in jewelry shots as well. All right, let's go like, okay? All right, let's get this out of here. Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm shooting on a white background this time because I'm expecting to fall off to gray. Instead of me getting gray and going darker than I would want, I'm dictating how much I'm getting out of it, okay? So that's kind of where that's coming from. I'm gonna take this off. We made our money from it, right? The client paid us. We're good, right? And we could do raw light or we could modify. How many guys wanna just go raw? Raw? Okay, let's do raw first.
What about if you want to do that background, even if it's white, but completely dark?
If I want to do that background but completely dark,
Yeah.
you would basically have to get your light closer to subject and then farther from background. At some point, it's about ratio. Okay? So if you're exposing for someone with a light that's a foot from them, but the background's 7 feet from them, it's not gonna be the same exposure. Because while she's 6.3, 5.6, f4, 2.8, right? But it's not gonna go black unless you have enough distance or a tight enough light source. And you're gonna see us get kinda dark pretty quick. But let's do a raw strobe. And I'm not gonna do it from a billion light years away. Yeah, I just wanna get to a setup that I can just fly with, because I think that's the part of portraits, I think, that we kinda skip, right? Is the rapport with the chemistry, the getting them to be there with you, okay? Wrong camera. Oh man. All right, raw light, straight up f6.3. And that's raw light, right? Its exposure is on. There's detail in the highlights. I mean, her skin has texture. There's detail in the shadow. Man, what is with this pad? Everything's going great. We're having a good time.
Sometimes.
That's a solid exposure, but she can really handle some really nice hard light. But I want to make this light like this. So I'm going to pull out some barn doors here. You rarely see me pull out barn doors, but you know, you guys earned it. I'm doing it. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is make like the tiniest slit of light. And what that makes this light do is get real small. When it gets real small, it gets real hard. When it gets real hard, we pull textures and detail. When I actually used to shoot for this lingerie company that was obsessed with the texture in the stocking kind of thing. I had to light just partial body, hardest light ever, and the face separately. Because they want to see every detail and stitch that they could find, but she still had to look beautiful. And sometimes it was just easier to do that. So it's one of those things. All right, let's put on this modeling light. Woo, I know. I'm of the pale variety, I get it. All right, I'm going to really just give her like the tiniest slit. And because it's like a little slit of light and we have lights going on, I'm kind of imagining it because I can't really see it too well. But look at me. I'm looking at the catch light in her eye to kind of dictate where I'm going with it. Sometimes I'll do a horizontal just on the eyes and let it fall where it's gonna fall. Or sometimes I'll do it vertical and you get two different types of feel from it, you know? She's wearing all black, so it is gonna absorb some of the light, which is fine. Let's do this. Ooh, these are beat up. They just do not wanna stay. Why would anything go right? It's my. All right, look at me. You know what? You got gaff over there?
White.
Yeah, give me the white, give me the white. I'm gonna gaff tape these because these are so beat up, they don't even want to stay in place. But that's how I like my equipment. I like people seeing I work for it. You know what I'm saying? No, it's. Any questions while I'm totally blowing time up here? Let me see. It's like the tiniest little bit of light. All right. All right, look at me. I gotta stop grabbing that camera. All right. Super sharp. I mean, like, ridiculous, right? Little hot, maybe? Okay, fine. So I'll tell TTL to chill out by a stop right there. Different feel completely, right? What are we doing here? We're creating a mood, an atmosphere, something that might dictate. If she was dressed for more of a nighttime look, you might want to kick this out there instead of the super flat, airy type look, right? Now, I'm kind of just going through lighting setups rather than talking about the portrait part of it, right? Which is like, oh, so I was here for the portrait part. I get it, relax. But we're trying to get to a personality with light that brings out a personality of someone that we are getting to know here. So I can keep messing with this, but I just want to get going here if that's all right, because we're already an hour into this demo and I've been spent half of it looking for batteries, right? So I'm going to go to old number one, Old Faithful. The thing that I like the most, the light that I feel lets me take over for my style personally. And I'm going to share it with all of you so you can rip me off and not tag me, okay? No, I was kidding.
Can they even get that nowadays?
Yeah. Okay. This is the ProPhoto 1x1.3. Long story short, it's a small box. It's a flagged box, which means it doesn't spread. It is about the size of Ashley. Now it's not. The smallest amount of distance change with this box can change a lot. The smallest amount of moving it left to right can change a lot. And that's why I tend to pull this out, because if I had a 3-foot octa and I move it a few inches away, it still looks like a 3-foot octa, okay? If I have this box, I get the hardness that I want to define with shadows, but I get a diffusion enough to where I'm not seeing shiny highlights that suck. And then I can dictate where those patterns will go. Because what you're trying to do when you light someone is, dictate a shadow pattern, and then fill in those shadows for the density you want. The first shot we didn't want shadows. We wanted no density in those shadows. Then we went here, and look at the shape of her cheekbone. You're seeing how much how defined she is, rather than on the flat light, which goes, I don't know, pick a flat light. There. Yeah, but I need one where she's looking forward. Yeah, we'll do this one. Of course it's soft, but you get it. Look at the width of her jaw. Yeah, she's posed differently, but the shadow will take it down, okay? So now, I'm kind of mixing everything we just did. I knew I was going to come full circle. It was the whole plan, I promise. Let's do this. You always ask this, it's speed lights. Yeah, speed lights will work. It's just a matter of power. Yeah. All right, so in fact, speed lights in small boxes are a little more efficient because they got less to fill and go through, you know? So with this, let's really, really do this, right? This is also, when you guys see those FX shots, this is what I'm using to sculpt a lot with, is small boxes. Maybe not this one always, but I keep it pretty small. Look at me. Yeah. Woo, Ashley. And part of this is kind of getting the set and then going with it and relating with them and talking. And if you want to learn how to really get a subject to click in, watch anything Mark Mann is in. He was on Call with Creators. He'll tell you, he shoots for 10 minutes with a celebrity he's never met. Well, you both had breakfast, right? Well, what'd you guys have? Were you at the hotel? That hotel's kind of, find it, go for it, talk about it. So without any bounce, look at the difference, right? I still get the dimension on the lips, but they're fuller. I still get that drop off on the jawline, but it's not gone. It's not so much a drama case here. It's not looking like it's behind the back alley. It's getting clean, right? Well, maybe I want to throw in a reflector now. Cool. Hey, there's one right here. How convenient. Who would have thought? I didn't know. Look at that. Look at me. Turn this way. Oh, turn this way. What? Turn this way. Yeah. So the other thing is remember I'm using a zoom. I'm kind of watching where I'm leaning in on, and I've been around 85 to 100 millimeters this whole time. Okay. Beautiful. But we're not seeing so much of that hair, right? Well, I can step back, right? And you still get those eyes. You still get the skin, the structure to the jawline, right? Well, let's say I wanted to, I don't know, really make her more defined. Seth, you're crazy. Stop, Fernando, I know. What was that? Half a foot? I moved it? Cool. This, a little farther down, look straight at me. I should really grip it. Why did I take it out of the stand? Did someone not catch that? You should have told me to keep it in the stand. Look straight, yeah, beautiful. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm gonna drop this a little lower. Actually, I'll give you a little zhuzh. Look at me, beautiful. I'd say that looks like the girl I know, as opposed to a deer in headlights. Yeah, all that texture's there, definition, her hair has got that energy to it, right? Let's see. Take a look. You see where we're refining this? We started one place, we kind of saw where we went when we turned the other way completely, and now we're kind of settling in. But one of the things about Ashley that kind of drives me nuts, which drives me crazy about a lot of what I see out there at trade shows, is if Ashley was a model at a trade show, they'd go, oh, tattoos, oh, piercings, and then that's the shot. No, no, no. She's a human that is expressing the person she is. Maybe I'm biased, but one of the ways I like to completely cut out what I call the noise, what's stopping us from connecting, she's always got all this craziness, all this green, all this black and white. You cut out everything right there, and where are they going to settle in on Ashley? the texture of those eyes that I've been talking about this whole time, right? So when I'm going after something, what's gonna get me there? I always go after Ashley's eyes, and I like her bone structure a lot, and I think it shows a lot of who she is. Every time I see her, when the shadow from her cheek points drops in, it's exactly the girl I know. And when you guys get people into your studio, they're gonna walk in there and you're gonna start seeing things like this. I'm waiting for someone to just deck me on the subway, because I just stare at them like, you know, it'd be sick if we just did like, I'm waiting for it. It's gonna happen. I'm gonna call Fernando and be like, I can't make it to this video. Before I go, actually, should we go into black and white with this look? You wanna do it on this look? Okay.
They're asking, Mike is asking if zhuzh is the technical term.
Zhuzh is, actually, isn't that from Queer Eye? Zhuzh? Isn't zhuzh? No, whatever. Actually, you know what I gotta do? Because it's my demo. There's only one tool in the world that can handle this. The Brooklyn reflector. With the secret, double silver. Let's do it. Let me do this. Hold this for me. I just want to see how specular those eyes get. Why not? Shoot like that. Beautiful. Really? You're going to go bored? I got a Brooklyn reflector on you? Come on. What are you doing? What are you doing? There she is. But you're seeing that reflector in there pretty quickly. Right? It's bringing in there. I mean, it's a joke, but look at her throat. Right? So let's say she had that necklace she wants to really make sing. We go silver. See how these are all choices, but they're getting us to a certain place? Not every choice is for everyone. So when you guys just go, hey, I'll put the light 45 degrees here, TTL, pray, go yay, and go, why is my stuff not really connecting? It's because you're not chasing after what you're trying to connect with. All right? Let's go into black and white so I can survive this demo. Oh, man. You guys all right? Has this been helpful so far? Any questions? There's no way I explain stuff clean enough to have no questions here. All right, let's do this. I'm going with the white because I don't want to like nuke her out. I want, see how we lost, this is the biggest thing actually. This is the real reason I'm going white, watch. Dimensional, we even lose the color, right? These, when you have to start noticing subtleties to get to that next level. Your viewers might not have any idea what they're looking at, but subconsciously, they can tell what they're gravitating to. And sometimes they're not gonna have anything to compare it to, but it's just working. And when people connect with your work, it's because you went that extra mile to put every detail in there. Everything you put in that frame, every single thing is a word in a sentence. You're not gonna be there, your mom's the only one reading your caption, make the image speak. All right? All right, let's do this. Well, let's get a base shot, and then what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go into black and white. Turn this way for me, to like this, chin down a little bit, beautiful. Chin up a little bit, beautiful. Look like right here, watch, right there, beautiful. Chin up a little bit, and then tilt like this a little bit. Yeah, there we go, gorgeous. Nice and listless looking, right? I just made that word up, I think. Anyway. But like, seriously though, look at all the decisions we made and look where we're ending up. How snappy is that sapphire in her eyes, right? Forget about it, don't even start this. Pete, enough, stop making fun of me. Let's see what happens here. Let's go. I'm gonna do a very, and this is another thing, is I do my own black and white grading, right? And I think it's important because I don't shoot and figure it out later. You shoot for the grade, okay? It's just like if you picked up a film stock, okay? Black and white. I'm gonna take down the red a little bit to give her some more definition. The yellow is the midtones of the skin usually. Blues are gonna be in your shadow. I mean, look at her eyes, look, they go completely vampire dead, right? So what I might do is go into her eyes right here and just dictate my shadow like that. And then of course, because it's black and white, we can do a little bit of midtone to highlight, and then I'm gonna take my blacks and make sure those are black. And I like my black and white to be silverish. And I was raised by 4x5 large format photographers, and I still shoot it that way. I want details in my highlights, details in my shadows, and my midtones fall in line. When I say this, that's not a hard rule. If I think nuked out, contrasty white works, we'll do that. But this to me, right now, let's try that shot we did before. Look straight at me. Chin down a little bit. Look right there, beautiful. Command Shift C, Command Shift V, Command Shift V. All right, so now that's black and white. We did a color variant before, somewhere, sure. And doing something like this for at least, when you're done getting a shoot done, do something like this. See how something you didn't do affected it. You got the shots, they're there, I promise. Now, should I have done it this way? Should I have gone this direction? There's no should. The next time you shoot, you're aware of what things affect what. You're looking at things differently. I'll say this right now, her eye is way more drawing me in on the black and white. I'm getting sucked in right there. Of course, I could go over here and grade this subtly, right? Like I give like a little bit of the white, give this a little bit of a zhuzh here, but in the end, this is a flatter light. They're all nice light. It's easy to get nice light. The light you're after, right? So really quick, can we put your hair to one side? I'm gonna finish this up with like just going straight for a shot. While this is nice and kind of fashionish, I kind of want to give her a light from the back because we didn't do that yet, and I want to explain why a light from the back kind of makes a lot of sense. And I have these other two lights set up right here, so why not? Oh, look at that. I have a 1x3 strip box right here. Who would have thought? Why am I dragging like 6 cables here? I knew this was going to turn into a mess, but it's okay. We're all a mess, all right? So I'm going to use a 1x3 strip box. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get this way out of my way. And I'm going to clean it up in the morning because that's what I'm going to do. 1x3 strip. And I'm going to point it like this. Not like this, like this. Because what you want is this light to spread enough to feather across. It's going to be subtle, but you're going to, actually, let me do it without one and then with. What you're going to notice is how much, let's just do it. I'm talking like so much. Come on, I'm going to lower it, look forward for me. All right, I use modeling lights a lot to see where things are going, but if any of you know me, I've shot with speed lights most of my career. It really shapes you to get used to where light's going, okay? So let me go into my remote here, turn on C, that's group C. I'm gonna turn it off. We're gonna shoot with her hair on one side. Turn for me this way, this way. Yeah, tilt like this, chin up a little bit. Look right here. Yeah, beautiful. Tilt a little bit. Watch my hand. Right there, beautiful. All right, let's take a look. All right. We have color, we got black and white. I'm gonna go into C. And I'm going to give it just like the tiniest bit. When light's coming at your subject and at your lens, it'll always look brighter than you think. It's reflecting into your lens, even if the exposure's on, okay? So I'm just gonna give it a subtle 2 stops lower than the light I'm using now, okay? And keep in mind, they're in similar softboxes, similar exposure at similar distances, right? Okay. Yeah. Right there's beautiful. The hair starts coming up, subtle, right? Subtle, right? Then we can start shaping her by having the light rake across her, trace her bone structure, okay? Beautiful. Subtle. I just moved the light farther out so it can spread. And when I say subtle, look at how flattened out her jawline gets here, sunken in here. You guys see that? You see it? Okay. This seems psychotic, but it could be the difference between an image that works or not. So also the other thing is this light is absolutely reflecting off of this as well, okay? So let's put it in there for real. Let's put it in like hard. Turn this way, yeah, beautiful. Oop, Blinky McBlinky over here. But you see how we're actually lighting her jaw here? Okay, I'm gonna shut it off now. Keep it right where I had you. But what you're seeing is a light that you don't really realize is there till you realize it's there. Look at the corner of her jaw, right? These are subtle and psychotic. You're gonna get to that point one day. You're gonna be like, oh, if it just, I mean, because it's not dodging the shadow, it's pattern of light. Make sense? Capiche? I just want to do a couple of shots without that. Look straight at me. Oh my God, why is this? Yeah, look at me. Chin down real quick, look it right into me. Straight, straight, straight. Beautiful. Yeah. And then, I don't know why this doesn't look the same grade that I left it at. But, yeah. And then, hold on. It cuts out all the stuff that people get distracted by. And that's why you see a lot of black and white portraitures. It's so surreal. You can't do anything but recognize textures, shapes, you know, things like that. Color, it's almost like it could be a distraction sometimes. So like this, chin down a little bit, beautiful, eyes to me, great. And then people always tell me, oh, Seth, you cut off the top of her head. Yeah, I did. And do you not know that there's a scalp there? But look how much more connected you are to somebody than if I'm doing this. Turn this way for me. Come on, Ash, really?
Not connected at all.
When you step back, they blink. It's a weird phenomenon. I don't know why. No. But the reason me and Dan and other guys that are kind of from the same cut are into this, it's a very cinematic look. It's that you make this a 16:9 frame, but not for nothing. Boom, you're in there. She could use this. Let's say she's going to speak at a hair convention. She can be on a poster board with a bunch of other headshots. With that, you know that's Ashley. That's your key to portrait. They have to be them. The more they don't look like them, you're glamorizing. Fine, do it. You want to throw prisms in your lens? Knock yourself out. You want to screw filters on? Great. You want to buy that dude's presets from that YouTube channel? Knock yourself out. But when you really want to boil it down to a portrait and you really want someone to connect with the person rather than the gimmicks and the styles that you're putting at it, look at the person. Keep in mind, guys, we were all the way in flat, boring land, right? And I don't know, give me like this. And we'll look at, it's subtle, right? But look how much, look at the shape of her jawline alone. The texture out of her hair. The dent you get right here from a jawline, it's like 1 in a million with some people. She's got it all the time. I love it. But you get the idea of the shape of her face. If she was in front of you, you knew her, right? Now that you're in a rhythm for the light, guess what I'm going to tell you now, and you're going to hate it. The light doesn't matter anymore. They do. And if you talk to any high stakes portrait photographer, like celebrity photographers, they'll tell you the light's just got to be there. I got to get them to come through and not look like they're posing. Talk to them. Make them forget that they're being shot for a second. And sometimes it's the other way. You want them to feel uncomfortable. That's not their personality. They don't like being in front of a camera. Get it there to a point where they're happy, but people can feel that that's that person. Honest portraiture doesn't mean everybody likes it. I don't retouch at all. I don't retouch. I don't want to. I want women in this world to grow up thinking that they're okay to have blood vessels and pores. Is it crazy? Am I just out of my mind? Do I want people to stop realizing that eyes don't illuminate like their light sources? You laugh because it's crazy, right? How many times have you seen a portrait and you're almost jarred? Let them be human. Let them be human. Let them be a person you were trying to get them to portray. Has any of this stuck for you guys? Was any of this helpful? I mean, we got into a lot of crazy weeds here for sure. You shut up. But I'm just going to go for a few shots in succession, try to get Ashley to chill out, and I do want to just point out in the Nikon video that we shot with her. If you check out the Nikon ZF video on AdoramaTV, there's a point where the first shots you see of her are very textured. She has these silicone implants on her collarbone that have texture, so I wanted to pull that texture out. My trade-off was that means every other texture gets pulled out, and you got to be okay with that. But the way I do that is pulling this light out to make it harder, drag the shadows, right? But I'm going to just shoot with Ashley for a second. Oh. Okay. Really? You're that bored? Oh. No. And you start getting these micro mannerisms, right? They start coming out. You know how many muscles you got in your face? It's when they stop thinking about those muscles, you get that look you've been looking for. Make sense? I know, I'm charismatic and you wonder how. It's all these years of trying to get people to be okay with a guy who looks like a janitor taking their photo in a commercial setting. But sometimes, it's also, you don't know the person, they got to get to know you, let them take a look at your work, take a look at where they're from, chin down a little bit, eyes to me, beautiful. And sometimes it's about doing your research and going, hey, you're from Maine? I heard it's like ridiculously cold in the winter. Oh yeah? Well, how cold? Well, in New York, it boom, 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 boom. In between, those shots start hitting and you wonder why? Because they're them, because they are them. You're portraying them. No matter what I showed you here tonight, no matter what gear, no matter how ridiculous this was, they are the shot. Your job is to portray them the way you think as the portrait photographer you are, because he's going to shoot it different. This guy's hitting me with a Leica right now. He's going to shoot it different. The point is, I can't tell you your point of view, and I can't tell you your style, but no one also can tell you your point of view or tell you your style. And no matter what you do, and I'm going to tell you this right now, and he hears this from me every day, no matter what you do, someone's going to hate it. You've got to want it. You gotta like it so much you pick up that camera the next time. That's the game. Don't listen to them. I got to deal with comments every day telling me how much I suck. Every day.
Okay, I'll stop.
Yeah, seriously, Fernando. And my mom learned how to use a keyboard, so now it's like every day, right? No, but you hear what I'm saying? Like, you have to kind of get confident to stick with your guns and your style. Don't let anyone take that from you. But if you're saying to me, Seth, I want to get a super soft light, and you're still having a lot of contrast, we're having a problem. Does that make sense to you guys? Was this helpful? Yes. Any questions? I feel like I went all over the friggin' place, which was my plan.
We're gonna ask all the questions once we stop.
I know, everybody's gonna. You guys in the chat okay? Listen, I don't think I really got like a haymaker shot here, but I'm all right with it. I mean, I think like, beautiful. Chin down a little bit, great. Turn to me a little more. Look like right here. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, she just has that look, man. It's just like, boom, right? Boom, right? And when I did this demo last time, shooting my mom, I had to get her to just stop doing a gigantic smile. And I had to get her to a place where I disturbed her a little bit to where I got that look that I know for the entire lifespan of my life, and that's my mom. Sometimes it's like that. So I think if you could take anything away from this, it's about them, it's about how you portray them, and it's a collaboration to get to here. They got to be happy with it, but they still got to be okay with the way you think they should be portrayed. Oh wow, okay. Any questions? All right. You guys in the chat, if you're watching this after the fact, hit subscribe. I guarantee you're not. Would you put me on camera 1? Are you always on camera 3? Have you been on camera 3 this whole time?
No. Just when I want to.
Hit subscribe. You're not subscribed to this channel, I promise you. We have 1.3 million on Adorama TV, and as of right now, 4,000 here. You're not subscribed. Hit subscribe. And there's demos out of here all the time, guys. You're welcome here any night, any day of the week. Check out Adorama events on YouTube. Check out Adorama on Eventbrite. Stay up on the social. My name is Seth Miranda. You can find, oh, I forgot my promo screen. Don't, hold on, just let me do this. As of right now, I am hitting 40,000 subscribers on YouTube. I would really be psyched if you guys could join me on my channel. Last ex-witness on everything, but it's also got a Discord server where you can be in there 24/7 asking questions, sharing work, sharing insights. So huge community. It's not just a channel, but I'd appreciate it if you got me to, I want that 100K this year so bad. I'm gonna wear it around my neck like a necklace and hate and everyone's just gonna hate me. That said, thank you guys so much, and I will see you on the next one. Hit that. All right, later guys, peace. Wait, where's the thing? Oh.